Ok, señores, estamos este día con Chloe Trujillo y Kevin de Blvd of Ice, que sacaron hace muy, pero muy poquito Buying Lies for the Truth Seeker, un EP que está increíble, salió en octubre, así que búsquenlo en las plataformas y hoy conversaremos con Chloe y con Kev. Chloe, Kev, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm good.
Nice to meet you.
That's super cool. Well, guys, this Buying Lies for the Truth Seeker, well, was released last October, and it's amazing. It's a really cool EP with lots of influences. I was listening to it, well, these past weeks, and yesterday I was listening to it with my little brother, and he was like, "Man, this is really cool." And
Oh.
and when it ended, it was like, "Okay, so was that it? Okay, no, I need more." So, so it was really cool. Well, congrats for that. And how was the writing process of this EP?
Well, actually, we wrote it a while ago before we were Boulevard of Eyes. It all started, Mark and I. Um, you know how we started the band actually. During the pandemic, I did a show for Global Green, and then Mark was part of that show, but it was a virtual show, so we actually never met in person. And then after that show, I watched the show online, like every artist could watch the show online. And you would perform in front of a camera. There's nobody is allowed, full on 2020. Those remember those days. And so I watched the show, and it was like a multi-genre kind of a show, like groups and bands of different, there was metal, there was just rock, there was pop, there was rap, there was like all kinds of stuff. And so I watched the show, and I'm like, oh, there was another metal band. It's cool. And so I started following them on Instagram, and that's how I got the DM from Mark, because I only check the DMs of people I follow. I mean, it gets, how they
Yeah,
select,
the
like,
request
so,
and everything.
because
Yeah.
it's so overwhelming for me. I get hundreds a day, and I can't, otherwise I spend my whole day doing that. But I saw his message, and his message was like, hey, would you like to collaborate on the song? I'm like, sure. And then he emailed me like 5 riff ideas, and then to which I responded. I picked one of them, and I responded with adding a melody to it. And then we went back and forth and wrote our first song like this without ever meeting in person. And then we got picked up by a label in Australia, and then they released the first EP with us. And basically during that time we just wrote, because there was no performance. It was all like, and so we just wrote back and forth. And nobody except Mark and I, this we were the only ones involved in the writing process so far, because we just did this. And then once things start to reopen, we started having some offers for playing shows, and we're like, oh, well, now we need to build a band. And so I told Mark, I say, I don't know if that's weird, but my daughter is pretty badass drummer. Maybe we can try her out. And then Mark was like, I know some guitar player that's pretty badass too. Let's. And so we met the first time in the rehearsal studio, and then we jammed on the song, and that's how Boulevard of Ice was born. So the writing process was really just Mark and I in the very beginning. Even that second EP, even though we've been a band like for a year now, Kevin. Like,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, it's been a year.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's so that EP was written before, but we got some pretty exciting new stuff that we're writing all together. And I think our goal is really to like get everybody involved, all four of us involved in the writing process, because I think we really, from playing all these shows this past year, I think we got a great connection,
Oh yeah.
musically and also in person. And I'm looking forward to releasing those new songs that we've kind of been jamming on here and there, you know?
Yeah.
That's great. That's super cool to hear, and that's a nice story about creating a band, like, and from the pandemic. Yeah, something good
Yeah.
since the pandemic. Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's something, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. It's just like even the first couple shows, I don't know if we did two or three shows still under the name Chloe Trujillo Rhythmic. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's enough. We need to find a band name. And one of our songs is called Boulevard of Ice. So we're like, that's a cool band name.
And that's that.
Let's do that. And that stuck.
Yeah, and well, how do you come with that name, Boulevard of Ice?
It was the name of one of his songs.
Mm-hmm.
We were trying to, we almost chose The Weight of Gold Teeth, and then I think
That's right.
Mark found a couple bands that had similar names, and we're like,
Mhm.
okay, maybe that's not right, and all this. And then I'm like, Boulevard of Eyes. Look, I have eyes everywhere. I'm like, this is perfect. I love eyes. I was like, eyes tattoos. I can't get enough of eyes, and I think it's a great name because even the meaning of it, like Boulevard of Eyes, like you're being watched, or whatever you can imagine. It stuck, and so yeah,
It's totally us.
absolutely.
Yeah, no, I was looking at the paintings and like, maybe it's some inspiration from that too. Yeah, but
Yeah, yeah.
wow, well, and well, where do you find the inspiration for this EP for the Buying Lights?
I think a lot of it was what we were seeing. I mean, I know for me, lyric wise, is what we were seeing around that time of the pandemic. There's a lot of stuff that was going on, but it's also, I'm inspired a lot with the human condition, the spiritual evolution of us and just all of that in general. And I think the time of the pandemic, we saw so many things that, were not used. I mean, how crazy of a time. Sorry, my phone is on. Oh, a minute now. Sorry.
No,
It's
it's
like
okay.
everybody's calling me at the same time. Um, it's all the craziness we saw during that time. I mean, I'm still thinking about it. It's like, wow, what a crazy time to live. I mean, my kid, like I saw even my kids were old enough, that they didn't, I can't even imagine like young kids, like all of a sudden, they're used to playing with their friends at school, and all of a sudden, like, nope, you got to stay home. You can't go out. You can't see your friends. Like how insane, like it was just, so I got inspired by, I think, all of that. It's like a mix of feelings, whether there's fear, whether there's like, I know I had like, there was moments where I was like, oh, this is great. I don't have to go anywhere. I can just create. Like I love creating. I can just create music, create paintings. I don't have to go nowhere. But at a certain point, it's like, is the world ever going to reopen? Because then,
Yeah.
there's a time where like, I need to do shows. I need to make some money. I need to, like, I was selling some of
Man.
my stuff online, but it's like, I can't, it's just, and I think everybody got that feeling where like,
Yeah.
okay, like,
Oof.
it was like, so I got, yeah, there's a lot of this inspiration, and it's like a combination of like, fear, joy, just being in the creative process. And actually, I'm grateful that I'm work in the creative field, because I think it really helps to create something. So it's like you express, like some people were on their own and not able to express anything, not able to see people. It's difficult. I'm grateful I have a family, and it was great to have my husband at home. Like my husband and my son are always touring, so they're hardly home ever. And so I'm, there was moments that were great, but there was moment where it's like, shit, how long is this gonna last,
Yeah, I think that was the worst for everyone in the world, maybe. Yeah, I
I
remember.
mean, the
Oh,
whole world is experiencing that.
no
How
way.
crazy.
And it's like something like, with our kids, that's something that they went through that I didn't go through. Like, we didn't go through growing up.
Yeah,
This is something
it,
new.
totally,
Yes.
totally.
Oof. Yeah, I remember that time. Yeah, I kind of love that time because, well, I get to do interviews with a lot of musicians, um, thanks to Zoom and everything. But at
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, but at the same time, I was like, come on, I need a live show, please, please.
Yeah.
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 Oh man. Yeah, playing the guitar here at home, it was like with my dad or my brothers. Like, yeah, well, I'm having fun, but please, please, get me out of here.
We need more. We need
That
something.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
it was also a time like, you're playing, like I was playing guitar every day, which I'm not a guitar player, but I was playing guitar every day during that time to the point where like Robert and I started playing covers. He got on the piano, like he never plays the piano. We got on the
Wow.
piano, I was on the guitar, and then we were singing together like covers. And I was like, shit, we like would never get to do things like that. So there was some great moments, but yeah, it was time. I think we did pretty good with Boulevard of Ice. We started like last year or end of 2022, right? We were
Hmm.
like full on, like played show after show after show. Like we made up for all the lack of performing.
Yeah, well, and how has it been for you to play with Lula along with your daughter on a band?
Um, it's it it's great, it's funny because I don't even think of her as my daughter once we're on stage, once we play. It maybe just for the first show, I was like nervous for her. I don't know. I don't know if it's weird to say. Like I was like, oh, I hope she's okay. She's not too nervous and all this, because as a mother. But now I'm more seeing her like, like the musician she is. Of course, she's my daughter, and it's what's great is, we played in Chicago. It's great. We traveled together. Like I'm with my daughter. My son and my husband are doing their own tour, but at least like I have one family member. It always is great. And I hope she will say the same thing. But it's great. I think I told her before offering her the position, like I said, I totally understand because I'm your mother and it might feel weird. And of course, she's the youngest of us all. But she is, I mean, I don't know what you would say, Kevin, but I think she's like mature enough. Like you don't feel like she's like the kid, she's,
No,
yeah,
she's totally like an old soul. I remember like because I was coming into the same fold at kind of around the same time, and I was asking Mark, I was like, well, who's the drummer? And he was like, he's like, Chloe's daughter, check this out. And then he sent me video of her playing. I was like, oh wow. I mean, it's crazy because she's young, but she plays like she's way older. Yeah. So yeah, it's just been it's such a crazy dynamic. Yeah, and like you're saying, Chloe, like my daughter is like similar in age. So, but like the minute we plug in or and get ready, we get ready to go, that goes out the door. I just Chloe said that very well. You see her for the musician that she's in. She's an old soul behind those drums
yeah,
and just so talented.
yeah.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, that's super cool. Well, Kevin, for you, when did you start to play music and you said, okay, I'm gonna be a musician?
Oh my gosh, I started playing guitar when I was 6 years old. So it's been majority of my life. I think around like right after I got out of high school, like I got into heavy music and I was like, okay, I got to do this. and I grew up on the East Coast, so a big part of that was moving to California. And when I started getting in touch with just people out here, people's situations were moving. I was like, okay, this is a reality. I was like, I didn't have a choice. I was like, what else am I gonna do? No, but in seriousness, I love it. I love every aspect of it. I love first of all, the music. I love the community of metal and rock. I love the shows, love the energy, everything about it.
Yeah. Well, sorry, it was my dad he was offering me some biscuits, and I was like, okay, yeah. that was my reason.
Take those biscuits, whatever.
Okay. Don't miss out on that.
They're nice. You need the nutrients. Like, let's go. You need some like fuel.
Yeah. That's it, Papa. Okay. Yeah. Well, after that.
You are in Chile, you said, right? Is that where you are?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm in Santiago.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, my son just played there recently with Suicidal.
No, he couldn't.
Oh no, that's right. They moved it. He played Argentina only.
Yeah, you reopened really deep wound.
Oh, sorry.
I was about to work at that festival, so it was like.
That's right.
Yeah, and now I'm like. What am I gonna do for the end of the year? Yeah, next time. Yeah, Suicidal is not playing here since maybe
for a long time.
2016, maybe.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
And it was amazing because there was I think the lights went off. A lot of punk fans were entering to the venue like maybe 3 times, and it was amazing. I think the capacity of that venue was like 800 people. It was like maybe 1,200 there, so it was amazing.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's killer.
I miss ST.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah, real punk rock.
How does it feel to have a song playing in Korn, in Suicidal Tendencies, while your husband is in Metallica? How does it feel for you? Because it's like pretty huge.
I've been always impressed with Ty. Like, even when he got the Korn gig, he was 12 years old, okay? And Robert was on tour, so I would pick him up from school, him and his sister and Lula. And as soon as he came home from school, he learned all the Korn songs from the CD on the CD player. Because he only had a CD. He didn't have a phone yet at 12 years old, So he didn't have like streaming or and we had like the Korn CD. My husband's pretty old school with his music playing. He's not. So he had a CD and he learned by ear, like, and for hours every day after school. And then he went to the audition at Fieldy's house, and in his he has a little jam room. And we were all blown away. We were like, whoa. And so he got the tour, and luckily, and actually it was a South America tour. Metallica had just played South America. Robert just came home, so he was able to go back to South America with Ty. So I'm like, somebody has to stay home because Lula still is going to school, and take her and come. And I'm like, I think it's better, I told Robert, I said, I think it's better you go with Ty, because if he has like some issue with the bass or whatever, I can't help him. But he was totally great. The most that Robert had to help him with is the lobby calls. Lobby calls, 6 a.m., let's go. How these are. And so but yeah, he had a great show, and I had tears. Like, Robert was filming the stage, the first show he did with Korn, and I was crying. I was like, oh my God. Like, and then I talked to Ty. I remember after the first show, I was like, how was it? Were you not nervous? Because you're playing in front of thousands of people. And he said, no, I was nervous right before going on, and maybe for the first 2 seconds. And once we start playing, I was like, you forget, you're like full on in there. And he was doing solos and back and forth with Ray on the drums and
Hmm.
all that, and just yeah, so I'm proud. And
Wow.
he's a hardworking, I mean, there's something to say about, yes, you can have talent and be a prodigy or whatever, but he works hard too. I see it behind the scenes, and I see, I mean, he plays every day, and it just gets better and better. Like right now, he's blowing me away. Last time I saw his band autoplay, and he's doing over a 4-minute bass solo, and I'm like, what? I mean, it's doing the crazy jazz thing and all that. I'm like, whoa. Anyway, it's great. It's great because it's inspiring and
Hmm.
it pushes me. I feel like, okay, that's my son. I gotta, you know,
Wow.
so yeah.
And well, yeah, if I'm feeling proud of him, I couldn't imagine about you. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
oh
it's
wow,
insane. Yeah.
wow. Well, for the both of you guys, what's the best part of making music?
'Cause
That's
All
a
I
tough one.
yeah,
Go
everything
you
I would
first.
say. Yeah, because I love, just before we were hopping on this Zoom, I was working on some of the songs that I had. So I put ideas, when I paint, I usually have most of the times I have melodies and words that come to me, and I record them on my, look, another eye. Woo! Um, uh, I record them on my phone, so I'm not taking away from that painting. And then I go here and I record with this mic and onto my DAW and so on the computer, and then I get back to it. But I just love every aspect of it, from like the initial idea to building off that idea, because you know when you have, like, I start with melodies mostly and words because I'm more of a vocalist, and every song can become anything. Even like a melody, you can apply, you're like, oh, I want heavy riffs on that, and then it can become a metal song, and then, oh, I want something more so and so. It can become anything, and that's the beauty of it, which also can be overwhelming because now there's like so many options. But I love every aspect of it. And what I missed the most actually during COVID, because I released a bunch of songs on my own. Um, and so I was doing everything myself. And now with Boulevard of Eyes, I feel like it's great because we can collaborate and we can, like, everybody can add their little touch and their ideas. And then it's just, that's the fun part to me, is like creating together. And I think music brings that. Like when I paint, yes, you can do collab paintings. I've done some like this where two or more people work on one painting, but most of the time I'm working here in my studio on my own, and it's very solo. And I actually love to be creating music with other people and just exchanging ideas. Another level of connection. You can connect with friends. You have fun. You go, have food. You go to a party. You go. You can do things together. And then I feel that the connection you get from writing music, creating something together, is even like a stronger. So I love that like when it gets to like everybody brings in that thing and we're all in a room and we're all, yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course when it's finished is to perform it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly what Chloe said. Like, that's the other aspect. For me, it was a little bit different. It was kind of crazy because Mark would send me the idea even before I was involved. We've always been great friends, so he'd always send me the ideas. So I would see like the evolution of like how things were going, and then when we got to jamming and it became for real, it was like a good challenge for me because it was like I was like, okay, these people are super rad. I love this, but I want to like put in the work, and then like as a guitar player, sonically like finding the right tones and the different things that worked the other part of creating songs is seeing how it hits the audience, and like things that we didn't like expect. People are like, oh, I love this part of Gold Teeth, or this, that, so everything that Chloe said, in addition to like when you take it to stage, and then, people start coming back, and then you have a recording, and then people are digging the songs too. So all of that.
Yeah, and also, yeah, like Kevin is a wizard with his stage sound. Like he's got all these guitar sounds, and he really, I mean, you're like the wizard.
Oh, thanks.
He's gonna help me with some sounds I want to create, like, cause he's really good at that, like,
Wow.
playing with sounds.
Thanks.
And making layers and everything on stage. That's
Yeah,
super cool.
because on the album, on the recording, we have some synth and all this, and actually Kevin replicates kind of similar sounds with this, like the pedal that he has, and so it's really cool. But he also adds his own touch to all the songs, and actually we perform when the performance, our performance of the songs are a bit different than the ones on the album. I mean, it's the same songs, but it's like, because we don't have the synth, because we don't, like, we're just like, there's the four of us, but we each add something, like, just,
Yeah.
this is cool. Like, I like how it turned out, and yeah.
And I'm grateful for it too, because like, especially like when you're a guitar player, come into like a newer situation, some people are like, all right, play it exactly like the record, don't deviate, that's it. But like, they've always just been like so rad about like giving me space, like, let's like do your thing, like, we've had just like, what Chloe was touching on, just like a great kind of like unsaid like communication, like when things are vibing and things start moving, and I'm so grateful for it, because it's so hard to even find out where you're trying to look, and like things with Boulevard just kind of happened, so.
Yeah.
Wow. And for you, Kev, well, after all of this saying about you're a wizard and everything, who are your favorite guitar players?
Oh my gosh, anybody who plays a guitar, because I've been very fortunate, just over, had a chance to play for so long. The biggest thing for me is everyone has like their own voice and like their own like gifts that they bring to it. So, I mean, it's hard for me. I mean, pretty much everyone who plays, I taught for a while too. And that's like the secret to teaching is, as a teacher, I was gaining all these, the perspective of my students. Cause I would, once I figured out how they learn, I was like, oh, I didn't really look at it like this, but now I get that too. So everyone who plays, I love
such a hard question.
Yeah.
It's always a hard question. I get that often for art. Like, who are your favorite artists? There's so many, and some might be a completely different style than mine, but I also love them. Yeah. It's such a hard question. Like, you get inspired by everyone who plays well. It's just like, just like you said, it's like everybody that plays guitar, like, because everybody can bring in something, like,
It's true. It's so
and
true.
Then it's like what happened to me sometimes, if I start naming some artists, and then at the end of the interview, I'm like, oh,
yeah, I forgot that one.
I forgot that person, and that person. How can I forget? So it's
I was playing that game with a band. Well, I was working as a tour manager some months ago, and we were at the lobby, like at midnight, and one of the guys was like, "Okay, tell me only 5 bands that you will go to an island and listen to them all of your life." And I was like, "Okay, Metallica, the Beatles, and Rush, and oh my God, no, I need like maybe 30 more." And they were like, no, it's impossible. Well, it's part of my job, getting like asking hard questions for you. So sorry, not sorry. Yeah,
it's good.
Well, well, guys. Well, time is running up. We got like Zoom was saying that I only have like 8 more minutes. So, well, I don't know. It's been a really, really nice conversation. I've enjoyed it a lot. And, well, thank you for your time. And, well, Chloe, after all of this, you're not only doing music, you do a lot of stuff By the way, you designed the suits for the USA Olympic team, artistic
Yeah,
team,
yeah,
and that's the
yeah.
thing. Like, my God, you're doing a lot of stuff. And how do you come to do that?
Well, I don't know. It's the weirdest thing is the coach for the Olympic team. I think it's her aunt that had contacted me years and years ago. Her aunt is a flamenco dancer, a professional, and she found me somehow and she contacted me years ago and she said, I love your designs, I love your dresses. Um, if you we're very superstitious in flamenco, but I would love for you to design a dress for me, but it has to have polka dots because
Ooh.
they need polka dots. And I'm like, sure, I'll let you know. And then I kind of forgot about this, like when you're so busy, you're just like, and one day I get this weird text from I know it sounds crazy. I'm the coach, blah blah blah, and I'm the niece of blah, uh, uh, such person. She had contacted you. She's flamenco dancer, and that did come back to me. And she's like, I know you might find it hard to believe or looking for a designer to create our swimsuit for the Olympic. I'm like, what? And I'm like, okay, well, let's see if it's real. Okay, let's meet in person, and they're in LA, and so we met in person for coffee with the other coach. So there's the swim coach for water stuff, and then there's another coach that coaches all the swimmers for gymnastics, like so they
Oh,
learn how to do everything on the ground
hmm.
before they take it
Wow.
in the water.
Water.
So then I met with them and I'm like, okay, this is real. And I'm like, okay, no joke. And then they invited me to some of their practices, and then you see you meet the team, and you see, the team at first is bigger because they still select their best
Uh-huh.
swimmers from that, but everybody, and you're like, wow, okay, this is for real. So yeah, it was kind of a crazy thing like that. It's just through a connection that, it's just strange, but it's
Yeah.
great. I love it when it comes like that.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. Congratulations for that. Yeah, I was like,
Thank you.
nah, maybe it's like the same name. I was like, no, I don't think so.
No, yeah. I know. It kind of a crazy thing, but I
Yeah.
love those kind of crazy things. I'm all about it. It's nice.
Well, yeah. Now I'm really saying goodbye. Well, guys, thank you for your time. If
Thank you.
no, well, anytime. I'm
Thank you
here.
so much.
Yeah. And well, if you guys wanted to invite all of the people here on the channel, on the media, to listen to a record, now's your time.
Yeah, please check us out, Boulevard of Eyes. We're on all streaming platforms. Buying Lies for the Seeker, our new EP that just was released it was end of October, the
Yeah.
Yep.
25th, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, so please check us out. We also have a website and an Instagram, boulevardofeyes.com, Boulevard of Eyes. Please note that Boulevard is what
BLBD.
B? Yeah,
BLVD.
yeah, that's it. Not the Boulevard, and I hope that very soon in the near future we come and play in South America, and yeah, please invite
Please.
us over.
We love to do it. We love
Yeah,
Like,
playing.
yeah.
hello, booking agencies, please. Yeah.
Exactly. Like,
Let's
hey,
go.
we're here. We're ready. We're ready to roll.